Do you know what the strangest feeling in life is? It's when you do absolutely everything right. You know, the way we were taught. You studied, you worked, you set goals, you bought things, you tried to be a good person, and then in the middle of a perfectly ordinary night, you wake up, stare at the ceiling, and catch yourself thinking, I'm doing everything right, so why do I feel so empty? There is a very specific reason for that feeling. We were given the most complex biocomputer in existence, our brain, and thrown into a chaotic world. But someone forgot to hand us the operating manual. So, we spend our entire lives trying to run this system blindly, wondering why it constantly crashes into anxiety, panic, and burnout. In the next 15 minutes, we aren't going to talk about generic success advice or spiritual cliches. We are going to hack the code of your own subconscious. I'm going to show you the hidden operating system that is running your decisions right now as you listen to my voice. And trust me, by the end of this video, the way you look at your life will change forever. Let's start with a paradox that breaks most people's brains. Let's call it the law of reversed effort. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to force yourself to calm down, the more anxious you get? The more desperately you want to appear confident, the more awkward you feel? This is the first major bug in our firmware. In psychology, the desire for a positive experience is itself a negative experience. The harder you chase happiness, the more your brain fixates on the thought, I don't have this right now, and it stresses out. We are trapped in a loop of reversed effort. The legendary psychoanalyst Carl Jung formulated a rule a century ago that explains almost every failure in your life. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about that. Are you absolutely sure you chose your career? Your partner with whom you keep having the exact same argument over and over again? Your daily habits? Science says no. In about 90% of cases, we are just playing out old scripts written in our childhood. Our autopilot is driving the car while we just sit there, convinced our hands are on the wheel. And when the car hits a wall, we cry and blame bad luck. But it wasn't bad luck. It was an unplugged autopilot. But why can't we just fix it? Because the second glitch kicks in. The curse of complexity. Our minds love to complicate things. We think that if we are facing a life crisis or burnout, the solution must be incredibly complex. We think we need to read 100 books, take 10 courses, and find a secret Tibetan practice. Do you know why your brain does this? To justify doing nothing. Overcomplicating is a genius way to be lazy while looking smart. In reality, the rules of the game of life are terrifyingly simple. But our ego gets in the way because it craves drama and catastrophic plot lines. To break this, we have to take the steering wheel away from the ego and turn on what the Stoics called the filter of control. Look at your daily anxiety. We waste up to 80% of our mental energy on things we physically, absolutely cannot change. We stress over the economy, the weather, what our boss thinks of us, or mistakes we made 5 years ago. We try to control the entire world, yet we completely ignore the only thing that is actually within our power, our own reaction to the world. We are like a person trying to stop an ocean storm with their bare hands, instead of just learning how to steer the boat. And this is just the first layer of the illusion. It gets much weirder. Right now, your brain is actively rewriting your past and lying to you about your future. Let's look at how it does that, and why your heavy past might not be what it seems. Welcome to the second level of our firmware. Remember that childhood feeling? If I just get this bicycle, I will be the happiest person on earth forever. You got it. You were thrilled for a month. Then the bike started rusting in the garage, and you needed a new gaming console. Congratulations, you've spent your life on the hedonic treadmill. This is a brutal biological mechanism hardwired into our DNA. Psychologists have proven that when something great happens, you get a raise, buy a house, or upgrade your car, your happiness spikes. But within a few weeks, your brain adapts. It treats this new lifestyle as the baseline and drops you right back down to the exact level of satisfaction you had before the purchase. We run as fast as we can, burning ourselves out, thinking that real life starts at the next finish line. But as we approach it, the finish line just moves further away. Your brain intentionally keeps you slightly hungry so you don't lay on the couch forever and stop evolving. But if you don't understand this algorithm, you will spend your entire life living like a tired horse chasing a carrot. And it's not just that we chase illusions, it's worse. We live in a world that our brain is literally making up as it goes along. Most people are convinced their eyes work like a video camera, objectively recording reality. But neurobiology says the opposite. Your brain is not a camera, it's a chaotic movie director sitting in an editing room, cutting and pasting footage to match its predefined beliefs. This is called confirmation bias. If you subconsciously believe that the world is dangerous and people are selfish, your brain will flawlessly pick out angry faces in a crowd, rude drivers, and bad news. Meanwhile, it will completely ignore the hundreds of smiles and kind acts that happened right next to you today. You don't see the objective world. You see a movie your brain edited based on your internal script. But the ultimate trick your brain plays is with your past. You probably look back often and think, if only I hadn't made that mistake. If only I hadn't gone through that breakup, I'd be a different person today. Are you ready for a shock? Your past, in the way you remember it, does not exist. Every neurobiological study on memory confirms that the brain does not store memories like files on a hard drive. Every single time you recall an event, you recreate it from scratch in your head. And every time, you add a pinch of your current mood, your current resentments, and your current fears. Your memory is not an archive, it's a storyteller that rewrites history depending on how you feel today. So what can we actually rely on if even our memory lies to us? Our emotions? Like, I feel fear, so things must be going terribly. No, that's another system error. Write this down. Your emotions are not absolute truth. Anxiety, anger, and panic are not signs that you are broken or that the world is ending. They are just system notifications, like the tire pressure warning light on your car's dashboard. When that light turns on, you don't throw your hands in the air and scream, "We're all going to die!" You look at it and say, okay, that's just data. I need to check the tire. So why is it that when the inner warning light of anxiety turns on, we immediately panic and let it dictate our lives? We have just arrived at the most dangerous and exciting part of our journey, to what Carl Jung called the shadow. This is the hidden room of your psyche, where you've locked away everything you're afraid to admit about yourself. And right now, that door is starting to break. Let's open it in the next part and look at the massive power you've been hiding from yourself. Now, we stand before the most heavily guarded door of your subconscious. Carl Jung called this place the shadow. Think back to your childhood. Whenever you acted selfishly, threw a tantrum, got loud, or demanded attention, adults probably told you, don't do that. Good boys and girls don't act that way. And because you wanted to be loved, you took those bad, inconvenient traits and locked them away in a mental basement, into your shadow. But here's the catch. Those traits never disappeared. They are locked in the dark, they are hungry, and they are furious. When you wonder in your adult life, why did I suddenly snap at someone I love? Or why do I feel so exhausted and depressed? Know this. It's your shadow trying to kick the basement door down. Depression is often just the massive amount of energy you are wasting to keep your own ambition, anger, or raw desires locked up. Jung said that the goal of life is not to become perfectly good or a saint. The goal is to become whole, to integrate your shadow. That means looking in the mirror and admitting, yes, there is selfishness in me. There is aggression. There is raw, unyielding ambition. And instead of being ashamed of it, you take that wild energy and harness it. You channel that aggression away from family arguments and into building a business or crushing a workout. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is the most powerful nuclear reactor you own. But you've been too afraid to press the start button. But why are we so terrified of looking into that basement? Because we are deeply wounded by the social mirror. Ask yourself honestly, without making excuses, whose life are you actually living right now? The one you truly wanted when you were younger, or the one approved by your social circle, your parents, and your Instagram feed? We build a false self, a mask, solely to be liked by others. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. And the worst crisis happens when a person achieves everything. They get the apartment, the title, the status, and then they sit alone in their kitchen late at night, looking out the window feeling completely empty. Because the whole time, They were feeding other people's expectations, while their true self was left starving in the basement. And while you are trying to navigate this internal emptiness, a literal war is being waged right outside your head, a war for your only true currency, your attention. In the 21st century, oil and gold don't mean much. The most valuable resource on the planet is your focus. The world's biggest corporations, tech geniuses, and neurobiologists wake up every single day with one goal: how to keep you scrolling for just one more screen, how to steal just 5 more minutes of your life. Remember, whatever you give your attention to literally rewires your neural pathways. If you spend 3 hours a day looking at someone else's curated life, meaningless drama, or algorithmic negativity, your brain physically restructures itself around that garbage. You literally become what you look at. You are giving away your life for free. We have reached the turning point. You've seen the bugs in your firmware. You understand how your brain distorts your world, and you know where your power is hidden. Now, only one question remains. What do we do about it? How do we rewrite this code so the system finally works for you instead of against you? In this final part, we are going to lay out the practical algorithms of a new reality. And believe me, this last step changes everything you thought you knew about how the world works. All right, we've dug down to the bedrock of your operating system. The bugs have been identified, the map is open. Now, let's rewrite the code. And we have to start by destroying the biggest myth of modern times: multitasking. Society has conditioned us to believe that a successful person is someone who can reply to an email, listen to a podcast, brew coffee, and think about the future all at the same time. Let me save you the trouble. Forget it. Neurobiology has proven that the human brain is physically incapable of processing two complex mental tasks at once. It simply switches back and forth between them at high speed, burning a massive amount of energy and dropping your functional IQ in that moment by about 15 points. Multitasking is just a great way to do a lot of things at once, and do all of them terribly. When we want to change, our instinct is always to add things: new courses, new habits, new to-do lists. But your system is already overloaded. To make a boat sail faster, you don't bolt on a second heavy engine. You throw the dead weight overboard. Leave the toxic group chats. Delete the apps that steal your mornings. Say no to meetings you only attend out of politeness. Give your brain some room to breathe. Okay, we've cleared some space. Now, how do we build what we actually need without exhausting ourselves and without relying on raw willpower? Understand this. Willpower is a finite resource. It works like a phone battery. By the end of the day, it's running on empty. You cannot survive long-term on, "I have to." Your life is not run by grand gestures. It's run by your habits. Every habit follows a loop: trigger, action, reward. You can't just delete a bad habit, but you can hack your brain. Keep the same trigger and the same reward, but swap out the action. And most importantly, stop trying to revolutionize your life by next Monday. Lean into the magic of compounding interest. If you can become just 1% better, 1% more focused, or 1% more mindful each day, just 1%, then by the end of the year, through pure math, you will be almost 38 times better than you are today. 1% a day is invisible. It's reading 5 pages of a book, walking for 15 minutes, or turning off your phone half an hour before bed. But across a year, it transforms you completely. Small steps reach goals that others only write down as broken New Year's resolutions. When you start taking those small steps, when you integrate your shadow and reclaim control over your focus, something incredible happens. Something Carl Jung called synchronicity. The outside world suddenly looks like it's playing along with you. The right people appear out of nowhere. Opportunities drop into your lap. The right book finds you. This isn't magic. It's just your brain finally being calibrated correctly. You finally clean the dust and reality distortions off your lens. And here is the ultimate truth of this operating manual. The one truth worth waiting for. Life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. You are not a helpless member of the audience, sitting in the front row of a movie theater, crying because a drama or a horror movie is playing on the screen. You are the projector, casting that exact image onto the wall. Whatever code is written in your internal operating system is the exact reality you will see around you. You can close this video right now, Forget everything we just talked about and hand the wheel back to your autopilot. You have every right to do that. Or you can take a single 1% step today. Turn off the screen, take a deep breath, and finally start writing your own script. The choice, as it always has been, is yours.